We all know that change can be challenging, but it seems that the change is extremely challenging for child stars. We've seen it happen so many times before. Child stars like Lindsay Lohan, Orlando Brown, Demi Lovato, and even Justin Bieber start off as young, talented individuals in Hollywood, but then become exposed to drugs, excessive drinking, and bad habits. This brings us into our discussion. Who's to blame for child stars and their downfall? The media, their parents, or them? Salitra, what do you think about this?
I have a lot to honestly think about this because, like, it's very sad to watch, someone we, just dreamed of being or, just really cared about, and was just like, wow, they're onto drugs now, or, like Lindsay Lohan, the Parent Trap, oh my gosh. Like, it's just like, when you see them go into this, downfall, it really upsets me. But, like, it's a lot of people I feel are responsible because, they're exposed to growing up at such a young age, and they really don't get the chance to just be a kid, and it's really sad. So, and then unfortunately they try to do it when they're adults, and that means breaking laws and harming people sometimes.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mirica?
Yeah, I feel like growing up in the spotlight really does make it hard for them to like be a normal kid. So I think like the media also plays a big role in it today because they have a lot of pressure. So yeah, that's what my thoughts on it.
What are you thinking, Connor? I know you have a lot to say.
Weirdly enough, I'm going to agree with everyone. I mean, it's weird from a developmental aspect, kind of looking at, you don't have a childhood. And, exactly like you guys said, you're always in the spotlight at that point. And, where do you go to hide? Because, I mean, raise your hand on this couch if you've never messed up before.
We all have.
Mm-hmm.
But, we have places to hide, and, fortunately we're not, verified on Twitter, so we're not exposed to all that fame and stuff. But to go back to your question about, is it the parents' fault? Is it the producer's fault? Is it their fault? I think it's a combination of all of them. Mm-hmm. And it really depends on a case-by-case basis with a lot of them. You have some parents that I'm sure push these kids way too hard. Yeah. One that is definitely at the top of my mind is Jesse Jackson with the Jackson 5.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jackson, I mean, king of pop, absolute star performer, knew his stuff, but, you hear horror stories about what the father put that family through just for fame and fortune. I mean, that's awful. Yeah. But a lot of more recently, it's unfortunate that a lot of these kids do end up trying to reinvent themselves, I think is definitely the big way to put it. Because, I remember Hannah Montana back when she was Hannah Montana.
Oh, yeah.
And then Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus was a 180-degree turn from there.
Exactly.
Wrecking Ball came out.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she's normal again, I think. I haven't heard from her in a while, so I'm not 100% sure. Well, God bless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, no, I think it takes them a lot longer to kind of understand, what being a normal individual is, the growth process is just so mind-numbingly different for them. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. I feel like it also has to do a lot with the mindset, because I know like a lot of like celebrity stars also haven't like turned out that bad either. So I feel it really depends on your mindset and how you handle that fame.
Yeah, like Raven, she's a good example of a child star. I mean, she's had some goofy moments. Don't get me wrong.
Raven did, honey.
But she hasn't been like exposed to. I mean, we don't. If she was, we don't know about it.
I mean, we never know because she was working. It was a whole issue with Bill Cosby, of course, and him going to jail.
True.
And she worked with Bill Cosby, so she still could have potentially been exposed to certain things, and I'm sure like all child, actresses or actors, they are exposed to things they probably shouldn't have seen at such a young age. Mm-hmm. So it's very different. Then also like I want to touch on how parents, they kind of in some instances sell their child out for that money or that fame, and they just throw them in a place and say, do what you got to do, and it's really sad and it's really unfortunate.
Oh, it's just so much to throw on a kid. So much being
pressure.
16 years old and all of a sudden your parents are like, you know, here's my ticket into the big times.
Right.
You know, go run these, because I mean, you know, we've learned this over the past three episodes we've done with this. It's, you know, it's not just showing up, you're reading a script, and then you're done. I mean, it is a full-time job doing what they do.
Yeah,
That
you don't
is
eat.
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's true. It's a huge pressure, huge responsibility, so it's important that we make note of that. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have, but follow us on Twitter to continue the discussion online. The College Voice will be right back.